Got a new fuel additive to test. It's been a while since I've done a fuel additive on the channel. And I decided to buy the whole case because the price just made sense. These are about 10 or 11 bucks a bottle, single bottle, and they're about $6 a bottle in the case. So it's almost like you get a bunch of free ones. And so this is the Schaeffers Summer Blend fuel additive, which I've used a couple times in the past, and it's actually been one of the better fuel additives that I've tried so far. We're going to see if we can reproduce some positive results when it comes to fuel economy and things like that. This is not going to be a scientific test by any means, but it's just going to be a real world test. And so we'll run this for probably a good 5 tanks or so in both 5.9 and 6.7 trucks. And what I'm seeing here, I haven't seen this before, the little funnel. That's interesting. I guess that makes it easier to pour in. That's cool. And this pretty much makes the same claims that other fuel additives make. Improves lubricity, reduces fuel system wear, cleans the injectors and so forth. Removes water from fuel. This one does not have anti-gel because it is the summer blend. Yeah, improving power, fuel economy. We'll have to see about it. We won't be able to test regeneration frequency with this, but I would say you'll probably see a reduction. This is one of the additives like Hot Shots where we did see a reduction on regens with that one. So it's probably going to be a few months down the road that you see the next clip, but we will be testing it out and I'll be sharing my results. Okay, sorry if you're hearing some wind noise. It's a little windy today, but how am I going to do this treatment ratio and so forth? So we've got the bottle here. It says it does 16 ounces to 125 gallons. So I'm going to do 1/3 of the bottle per tank. It's going to treat about 40 gallons, which is going to be a slight overtreat, but that's how I do all of my tests. And that happens to come out to be close to the 150 milliliter mark. So I'm using the measuring cup to determine how much to put in, because you actually don't have a way to see how much is left in this bottle. It's just, it's a metal bottle and there's no see-through thing on it to see how much is in there. Now the funnel is very nice. I mean, you could just pour this directly into the funnel, leave the funnel attached and pour it directly into the tank. But since I'm trying to take a measurement here and be a bit more precise for the test, I'm going to use the measuring cup. All right, here we are a few weeks or months later, whatever it is. I have finished testing with this additive and the results are quite interesting. So let's jump into it. Now, first of all, let me apologize. I am sick, just like in the Hot Shots video a year and a half ago. That was the last time I was sick, so that's kind of weird. But so excuse me if I sound stuffy. So here we go. Schaeffers Summer, 5.9 liter, previous 5 tanks before we started using the additive, and the 6.7 Cummins as well, previous 5 tanks before using the additive. The 5.9's fuel economy was quite laggard, only 18.06 miles a gallon. That trails its all-time average with this tire size of 18.72. So it's way behind the normal averages recently. So can this fuel additive wake up the fuel economy again and get this truck running efficiently again? We'll see about that. The 6.7 was also lagging its all-time average with 17.34 miles a gallon. All-time average is 17.61. These numbers are all unloaded highway miles, 95% highway with no trailer. If there was a trailer, you know, those tanks are outliers and are excluded from these numbers. So you're getting the apples to apples. Now let's come down here. Let's see what we did on Schaeffers with the 5.9. Fuel economy definitely rose. We averaged 18.75 on the 5.9. That is a 0.69 mile a gallon improvement over the recent averages, which is the best I've done on any fuel additive yet. But it represents barely a movement off of the all-time average. So it brought us back to our all-time averages, but it didn't take us any further than that. But the improvement over our recent fuel economy was pretty impressive. Definitely the best I've seen, and that's usually how I compare for my before and after tests.
Now over here on the 6.7, now wait, let me finish the 5.9 up a little. You'll notice that we picked up really strong last 3 tanks here. 19, 18, 9, 9, that's basically 19, and here's another one at 19. Happy to see us pushing 19s because 19s were nowhere in sight here. I mean, that last tank there was our closest that we could get. Now on the 6.7, this truck is also saw an improvement, and we averaged 17.99, which is really good. We had an increase in fuel economy on every tank, you know, where every tank over here beat the average from before. In fact, every tank over here beat the all-time average too. So it's a really good look on the 6.7. The 6.7 really liked this additive, and so we nearly averaged 18 miles a gallon. So compared to recent 0.65, that's a very similar result between the 5.9 and 6.7, 2/3 of a mile a gallon improvement there. And then versus the all-time, we saw a 0.38 mile a gallon improvement. That's a good look too. So all in all, I was kind of surprised with this additive. Now last summer I ran this additive too, but I didn't make a video about it, and we did get about 19 miles a gallon on the couple of tanks that I ran it on the 5.9. Not bad. Let's compare it to some other additives that we've tested. Now, the trucks weren't configured the exact same way, and you'll see my notes here. So for example, OptiLube Summer, we did a similar test on it. We averaged 18.16, but the truck was on 35-inch tires at the time. So what was that? That amounted to a differential compared to the previous 5 tanks of about 1/10 of a mile a gallon within statistical margin of error. So I'm saying statistical margin of error is about 1/3 of a mile a gallon in my book. If you improve more than 1/3 of a mile a gallon, like we did here on the XL, almost 4/10, that's where I say, hey, I think it actually improved. And 18.46 miles a gallon on 35-inch tires is very good, because my average all time with 35s was something like 17.9, 17.8. So this was a big differential from the all-time average, even more so than the recent averages. And then here's the Opti XPD. That's a good additive. Basically broke even on fuel economy though on the truck at the time. Now Hot Shots is the one that I've tested with this truck in its current configuration. These are all 5.9 numbers here. Hot Shots got 18.78, which is almost unchanged from what Schaeffers did. At the time it was a loss rather than a small gain, but we had our 33-inch tires. The truck was exactly the same as it is today. Hot Shots is pretty good at it. And then Hot Shots on the 6.7. The one thing about the 6.7 is it was bone stock, had emissions and everything on it at the time. It saw a nice increase because we actually increased our regen intervals. I'm not sure if that would have happened with Schaeffers or not. I think it might have. But the 6.7 seemed to like the Hot Shots additive too. So, you know, you can see our fuel economy way lower, but at the time it was actually a nice improvement. So here's another look at the data. Hope you all found this video helpful, and I think we will do more fuel economy testing. Hopefully have another one out before the end of this year. I am going to run through the remainder of my case, since I bought a whole case of these, and I have, who knows, many bottles still left. And overall, this one actually exceeded my expectations. I use a lot of Schaeffers products in my videos. Schaeffers doesn't sponsor me or give me anything. So I wanted to try their fuel additive and actually do a video on it. And it's up there with OptiLube XL as my favorite. Stanadyne is another good one that I like, particularly for injectors. And I think we'll have to do a Stanadyne test someday. But I kind of already know the answer for what Stanadyne's going to do. It's probably going to be right about average, right about neutral, similar to OptiLube Summer or even Hot Shots in the case of the 5.9. Very close to average. That's what I'm expecting. So we're going to cut the video off here. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.